we're getting into this place in this world where people want to talk to people that understand them, and it's very specialized. And for some reason, with mental health and clinicians, they have every category under the sun, except firearms is ignored. And I don't know why that is, right? But we need more gun-owning clinicians to come forward and say, I have no problem admitting that I'm like a firearms owner. I'm culturally competent in firearms, and that's not an issue to me. So that's the one thing I guess I'd want to push. And the other thing on Walk Talk America is we just released our new firearms trainer slide deck on our website, which you can get under a resource section. We've redone it, which I think is really cool because of the popularity of it. The original slide deck was a little archaic and old and looked like crap. So now we got the new one.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Season 2 of the Liberal Gun Owners Lens podcast. I am Miyanovich, and I will be your pilot on an unprecedented ride through the most innovative and forward-thinking analysis of the relationship between humans and guns on planet Earth. The entire nexus between guns and public safety needs a wake-up call, and Liberal Gun Owners is here to rock that party. Are you somebody who thinks you know what's going on with guns and public safety? I don't give a shit. I'm dragging your ass into the future whether you like it or not.
So let me ask you a question. When you're in the threat assessment world, like you go to this conference and you're there with guys like Eddie Davenport, like does a lot. He does a lot with WTTA. He's always been a big supporter. He's on my advisory board, right? Like, I know that the outside world's always shocked when they hear about Walk the Talk America and the stuff we do. How does the outside the gun industry world at these threat assessment places act towards your organization, right? Like, is that a mind-blowing thing? Because I know it's a mind-blowing thing for many inside the gun industry.
So it all depends on what I'm up for that weekend, whether or not I like step forward. And so a lot, like I have my badge on and it says Liberal, Executive Director, Liberal Gun Owners. So what I will do is I either am going to worry about the Jedi that week, or the Jedi that weekend. Like I have a group of 5 people that are big hitters and big players that I want to bring into the network and have friendships with. I will just concentrate on those 5 people, right? Or there are times where at some of these things I will be more open to everybody. But for the most part, what I get, everybody's like, oh, cool. Like at the threat assessment, like this is cops and Secret Service and veterans, and like a lot of people that are into threat assessment, it's very similar to the law enforcement reality. So they're not adverse to guns at all. But they will occasionally go, liberals with guns, that's a thing.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah.
But the one guy that, we would meet after the day, we would go to Van Driel's hotel, John Van Driel's hotel, the one he was staying at. He doesn't own it. And we would have like people that I don't drink, but drinks and like have dinner or whatever. And the bigwigs would like come and hang out. We don't hang out. One of the guys there is a threat assessment professional, and he's pretty wealthy because he had an amazing threat assessment company, and he sold it. And so he's pretty loaded, but he's still involved. And he was the guy at the table that was like, liberals, guns, that's actually a thing. He's a southern dude. And we were like, yep, that's a thing. He was like, oh, okay, cool. So the reason I bring it up is that he paid for the whole table. He told the people at the restaurant, here's my card, pay for everything, drinks, food. And so he was like, what the fuck? Liberals with guns. But he also paid for my fucking dinner. So
right. That's cool. But then he's walking to Earth saying that this is a thing.
Yeah. And it is good. It's good to have those things. I just
don't die.
I had too much. Well, we could talk about Kraft Singles again since we didn't talk about it this time, but I had too much cheese earlier. So I just find, this is what I find. People just don't give a shit about guns, man. They don't, it's not a part of their life. They don't like, it's not like they don't give a shit about them, like, fuck those guns. It's just not a thing. That's most people. It's just, oh, guns? Oh. That's it. And that's okay too. You know, like, people have to realize that guns are at the center of the fucking universe. And most people aren't going to treat them that way, and they shouldn't. They shouldn't. But in the world where there are people that are treating guns like a substantial thing, there need to be people like me and you and these other like 21st century mentalities, like leading the culture or helping the culture forward instead of these fucking BB brains. But most people are just like, guns? Okay. Guess so.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I always try to tell people too, because I'm just like, don't assume, you know, a lot of people think like, oh, these presidents of these gun companies need to be more involved in the political shit. And it's like, yeah, you don't understand. Like, a lot of people buy guns that aren't like you, right? Like, that aren't, just because you buy a gun doesn't mean all of a sudden you just like go right down this checklist of things that all, you know, massive conservative gun owners think is gun world. And that's, I think, a huge mistake that a lot of people make. You know, they got to understand that all walks of life buy guns, you know. And
even most conservatives, I assure you, most conservatives, when they wake up, they don't define the world by fucking George Washington and this maximum attention to the flag. Like, yeah, there are a lot of conservatives that are like that. But there are also a lot of conservatives that aren't like that. They're like, yeah, they like the nation. They're cool with the founders, but they're not like the founders, man, and liberty. Like, they're not like that. They're so not like that. But people just don't want to be hassled. That's the thing that I found. Like, it doesn't matter if it's conservatives or libertarians, centrists, independents, liberals, it's democratic socialists. People just don't want more bullshit in their life. So they just, if they have a gun, they don't want bullshit. They just fucking stay on the outside, right? Because there's nothing there to make them feel like, if I step into this to engage, it's going to be fruitful and maybe enjoyable, and maybe I'll grow. Or they don't see that. All they see is all the big mouths and the assholes on both sides. And that would be great if we could change that, because that's what I think would happen if those, like, the sleeping giant of the middle, like, if we could just wake it up, I think everything would change. But the issue is these people have nothing to relate to, right? Because, well, the only thing that's there that they can relate to is annoying. Gun people and anti-gun people are fucking annoying. Okay, so why don't we switch a little bit? I want to talk a little bit about Avidity. Get your viewpoint on how are things going. What's the experience like? You went to SHOT Show this year, yes? Like, what was that like?
So with Avidity, it couldn't have picked a worse time to actually launch this thing. You know, middle of the summer, and the industry being down. Now, keep in mind, the industry's down if you look at it in the now, which the problem with the gun industry is that we always do that. We always look at the now. We never look at, yeah, it's down, but if you look at the last 3 years, we're way up, right? Like, but we notoriously, like lemmings, run into these. That's the problem with these spikes. When you see spikes in the industry, whether it's from like some sort of shooting or some like talk of legislation or civil unrest, right? Like, it creates these big spikes, which is, everyone always says like, oh, the gun industry loves that. No, we don't. We don't love that, because it doesn't help when we try to forecast. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It's really all over the place. So it's hard to do things that are good for your business over a period of time, right? You're looking in the future makes it much more difficult. But overall, the launch of the gun was a success. We got it into Davidson's. We're talking to a few other distributors right now. The problem that we face is we're a one gun company right now, but we're working on some other things, right? At this present time that I think are going to help catapult us into more of a household name or getting the name of Avidity out there. But this is when we started this thing. I had Eagle behind it, and I had my other gun manufacturers that could kind of pick up some of the slack and carry this thing along. Rob and I broke off, and now we're just Avidity Arms, and we have to do a lot of stuff guerrilla, but I can't complain. I mean, Rob was going to sell a certain amount of guns just on his name alone. Like that was going to happen. Right. So you have that initial rush, and then everything else is about getting the word out there. And if you don't have $1 million to get the word out there, you got to work really hard at it, which we're not afraid to do. But it is what it is. It's a slow grind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, damn the fucking Kraft Singles. Sorry, go ahead. What?
I said, you got to eat the good cheese, which is ironic because the Kraft Singles never make me Kraft Singles, and they never make me choke like that.
I just think I had too many. I got too excited. Do you know when you go grocery shopping and like you get home with the new groceries and there haven't been groceries for a while, and you're just like, even though maybe you're not hungry, you're just like, I'm just going to eat a bunch of stuff because this is delicious. I did that like 2 hours ago. So maybe I shouldn't fucking do that on the day of podcasts.
There you go.
So again, like, my eyes are the eyes of a progressive entrepreneur, and when I am up at the office, up at Alpha Tech, and I see the boxes and I see the foam inserts, and I look through the manual, and I see the rights come with responsibilities thing, and I know the connection, or if I'm packing boxes, which I've done, like putting the Walk the Talk America card inside the box. Mm-hmm. This is not normal. This is progressive with a small p, as Rob said. It's progressive with a small p. This is progress. And I learned in business school, that big companies are shit at innovation. They always have to have some smaller entity do the inventing. They have to use some small inventive entity to find the new cool thing, because big companies are good at like administration and keeping the status quo, but they just are not typically good at invention and innovation. It's a small company, but it needs to be that way, in my opinion. I see more potential for 21st century, small p, progressive. This is a gun company that doesn't do things like other people. This is a gun company that really, really gives a shit. Not just like Ruger gives a shit or because they do, but you guys really give a shit because you're one of the owners and you really give a shit. You live your whole life. You changed your whole life because you really give a shit. And so when I'm up there packing the boxes and I see this stuff, I'm like, this is fucking crazy, man. Like, I mean, crazy beautiful. Like, this is happening in the world. Like, I know you guys probably not selling a lot of units, but this is fucking happening. And people need to understand just how important that is. I'm never a bottom line guy, like in terms of money. I never like look at the bottom line and go, that thing is a success. And because the margin is so high and blah, blah, blah. I'm into like these kinds of ideas. Right. And there just isn't another company that has what you guys have. And so that's why I want you guys to win. I want to support you guys. I want people to buy from Avidity,
I think that our time is going to come, right? It's inevitable. We launched a defensive pistol, the perfect, defensive pistol from Rob Pincus's eyes, from his X amount of years watching people on the range. And so that pistol is not necessarily for everybody, right? And we understood that launching it. But going back to your point, what is going to be universal through all of the guns that we come out with and the things that we do is our core principles and our values and what we believe in. And the fact that we kind of want to pave the way to show other gun companies it is okay. There's this thing in our industry. So someone asked me one time, they're like, when you how do you switch hats? Like, what do you do when you're talking to gun world and then also talking to like outside world, right? Where in the outside world, the mental health side is maybe center left, and then gun world's obviously center right most of the time. And there's certain things that I would say to different crowds. Like I know, so like when I'm talking to like the Aspen Institute, right, and the people there, I'm talking about things like corporate social responsibility, right? Like something that maybe like the gun people, like they'll roll their eyes at that comment because they'll say like that's the language that people use. But I see nothing wrong with the firearms industry having corporate social responsibility. Like my brain says like that makes sense to me, because we're going to attack the things that we love, right? Like the things that we want to protect, which is basically like people's mental health. And I mean, so I love that we kind of blended that together, right? So like, it doesn't matter who you are. It's just like either you're going to be on one side or the other, and say like, I really dig their belief system and what they believe in. And then for the gun people, they're like, oh, you can do that. Like you can be like that. Like, and people will think that's cool. Like I had to give a speech at the VA thing in Colorado. They wanted me to go up and talk about Walk Talk America. And I saw that like SIG was there and all these other companies. And I thought, okay, I'm going to tell them the success story of Eagle. When I first started putting the suicide prevention, the mental health screening card in the boxes of the guns, right? I remember having a meeting with my employees saying, I don't know how this is going to go. I don't know if like we're going to get complaints. So be prepared for that, right? Like, are people going to call and say like, what the fuck are you doing? Like putting this in the box? Like, why are you even like straddling that line? And I remember like it was important for me at this meeting in the VA to talk about how positive the response was from the consumers. The fact that we had people calling and saying, I just bought a Bursa and you have this card in the box. I don't want to thank you. And it's like, okay, like, no, we appreciate that, you know, and some people would tell a story, or then other people would just be like, I think it's really cool that you have that in there. Right. But the reason why I was focusing on that part so much in front of that crowd wasn't for WTTA necessarily. It's like, look, man, just do it. Even if you're not messing with WTTA, do it yourself. Find your own thing, right? Like maybe it's your own card that addresses this stuff, but just do it. Like, do it. Make Earth better. Like give the consumer an experience. So they're not just buying a gun and it's transactional. It's like, hey, look, you trust us. You bought our gun. You better trust us. You bought our gun and you're probably going to carry it with your life. I need you to be mentally healthy. We need you to be, you know, in tip top shape all around. Like we need you to understand that rights and responsibilities piece. Right. You're responsible to your family. You're responsible to yourself as well. Like to stay on top of your game and be mentally healthy when you have a weapon in your house or on your person. Right. Like we need you in tip top shape. And it's like, you can't disagree with that.
Yeah. How was this SHOT Show relative to the ones that you went to in the past? Because you went to this SHOT Show for the first time this last year, right? With Avidity. How was that? Were there cool conversations and so on and so forth?
Yeah, there was cool conversations. You know, we were advertising through Davidson's, right? Because our launch happened through Davidson's. Davidson's, for those listening that don't know who Davidson's is a distributor, a big distributor of firearms. So there's about 12 or 15 big distributors in the firearms companies, firearms world. Firearms companies sell to distributors sell to dealers, and then dealers sell to people coming in, obviously off the street, right? So we were launched through Davidson's. This gun has been in the making for 6-7 years. So, you know, we took a lot of shit for that, which rightfully so. But it was kind of fun to watch people say like, oh, here's the unicorn, or it's finally here. So the feedback was really good. But like I said, we're just in a space now where I think more and more people need to know it exists. And then we're for a while, we're going to be battling the fact that we're a one SKU, you know, one gun company right now. Like that's a lot of gun stores. You know, we have the issue, Randy, of like being one in a sea of millions, right? Think about like if I'm a rep and I'm trying to sell you on this gun, what am I really going to take time to not to like, I'm going to move on from Avidity pretty quickly, right? Like if I have Ruger to sell, which has like 50 different SKUs in one model, so we're up against that, but that's just going to take time.
Yeah.
That's going to take more people having that gun and shooting it and doing reviews like you're seeing online, it doesn't happen overnight. For
sure. And boy, with guns, do people get fucking stuck on the thing they like? Like, holy shit. Like stuff that might not even really fucking matter. In the end, they make the biggest fucking deal out of this or that, and they get brand loyalty and weirdo shit. And so you really are up against it. But
trends, right? Like that's the most insane thing about firearms trends. Like things go in fashion and then they go out, right? Like even calibers. Like, like remember when 40 was popular? Like all these little things, or like now the big thing is I need it as small as possible with many, many, many rounds, right? Like that's a huge thing.
Right.
We don't have our double stack yet. That's coming. Right now we have what we have, which is a single stack 10 round, like that's the way it is.
When are you going to come out? That's my other question. Like 2024 at some point, you're going to come to North Carolina
to come out again and hang out there?
Yeah.
Factory? Yeah, I'll definitely be there. I've been so busy with everything I've been doing with WTTA and kind of Rob's there. So, as long as I have Rob in his office, but sometimes I think I got to get out there and make sure that everyone knows that it's more than just Rob.
I think that would be good for Rob's sake too. I think it would be good. I mean, he's, where I live, if you're 25 minutes away, you're a neighbor, and his fucking property is 25 minutes away from me now. Like he doesn't have a livable building there, but when he does, he's legit going to be my neighbor. It definitely would be good to have you out here,
Yeah,
for sure.
I want to get out there, and I'm glad Rob's there. But I also too, like Rob is working really hard on this. You know what I mean? As he should, right? Like this is the next chapter in his life. But it's kind of fun to watch Rob understand or see how this game works, right? Because for so long, Rob was like that influencer firearms trainer that, I remember we used to, bump heads all the time when I worked at Eagle about like how it's going to get done and all these things. And now, thank God Rob's a smart guy because he's picking up on manufacturing and the things that come with it. But, it's just, we'll get there.
It's fucking crazy, dude. Walking up into Alpha Tech and just, from like the mountain of shit on his desk, Rob's desk, to going in there and seeing robots and like, it's all like surreal. It's like amazing. Of course I don't have any vested interest. I'm on the outside. I'm sure there's a lot of pain going on and discomfort and all kinds of shit, but dude, it's fucking amazing. I just think it's amazing.
Yeah. The manufacturing process period for major gun companies, if anyone ever has an opportunity to like take a tour of a real gun manufacturing plant, I would always recommend it. It's insanity. Like these things, they seem so simple to make and they're not. You know what I mean? They're very complicated things. They regulated too, right? Like,
it's people take things for granted. Like, I will never take guns for granted again. Like, watching you guys do this, knowing you both and being friends with you both before it became a thing, and being friends with you both and watching it become a thing to the point where I'm in the middle of it, like test firing, building boxes, having conversations with Rob, going up to the office, having lunch with Joe. Like I've done all that shit. Canon. I've done all, I've been up there, and it is, man, is it a thing? It's a process. And it helps me to that's why I want to support you guys. Like being in the middle of it, I see that it's not just fucking something is easy. So, we're at about 90 minutes. Do you have anything else that you want to add, man? I think this is a good place to stop.
I guess I'd just say that, WTTA is heading in the right direction. We have our healthcare provider directory. That's our big thing right now that we're kind of pushing. We're trying to get as many mental health clinicians or healthcare providers to come forward and have no issue saying I'm culturally competent in firearms. because at the end of the day, we still are linking up a lot. We always have to link people up who are ready to come forward to get that help. And the more we can grow the directory and we have somebody somewhere that could service people, gun owners who are ready to talk to somebody but still have that fear, the better it is for our industry, right? We're getting into this place in this world where people want to talk to people that'll understand them, and it's very specialized. And for some reason, with mental health and clinicians, they have every category under the sun, except firearms is ignored. And I don't know why that is, right? Yeah. But we need more gun owning clinicians to come forward and say, I have no problem admitting that I'm like a firearms owner. I'm culturally competent in firearms, and that's not an issue to me. Yeah. So that's the one thing I guess I'd want to push. And the other thing on Walk Talk America is we just released our new firearms trainer slide deck on our website, which you can get under a resource section. We've redone it, which I think is really cool because of the popularity of it. The original slide deck was a little archaic and old and looked like crap. So now we got the new one.
I'll make sure I'll link the slide deck on. I've got one more newsletter to do for the end of the year, so I'll link the new slide deck there, because I know we've got a bunch of people sub to the LGO newsletter that are instructors. Instructors,
yeah. And the way that it works, just for anyone listening to, and I really appreciate you pushing it out there, but like the way that it works, it's an easy thing to drop into your presentation, start addressing these things, and just talk. Like we have one slide that talks about Cause a Pause, right? Which is our campaign to put pictures of somebody or something you love on your safe, or anything that would create that cause when you're in crisis, right? Like those are the things that we could say to gun owners in a passive way. It doesn't, you don't have to sit there and spend 2-3 hours on this stuff. But we had a firearms instructor the other day. His name's Clayton. He's a friend of mine, and he was like, dude, bringing up WTTA in the class is one of my favorite parts of the class, because he's like, people share stories, or and it gets them thinking about this whole, like, let's do this mental health suicide prevention plan thing. So I appreciate you pushing that out.